Part 1. Choose the good. My strongest memory is not a memory. It's something I imagine then come to remember as if it had happened. The memory was formed when I was 5, just before I turned 6, from a story my father told in such detail that I and my brother and sister had each conjured our own cinematic version with gunfire and shouts. Mine had cricket, that's the sound I hear as my family huddles in the kitchen light off, hiding from the kids who have surrounded the house. The woman reached for a glass of water, her silhouette is lighted by the moon. A shot echoes like the lash of a whip. She falls. In my memory, it's always mother who falls. She had a baby in her arms. The baby doesn't make sense. I'm the youngest of my mother's 7 children, but I like say none of this happened. A year after my father told us the story, we gathered one evening to hear him read aloud from Isaiah, a prophecy about Emmanuel. He sat on our mustard-colored sofa, a large Bible open in his lap. Mother was next to him. The rest of us were strewn across the shaggy brown carpet. Butter and honey shall he eat? Dad droned low in the monotone, weary from a long day, hauling scrap, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good. There was a heavy pause. We sat quietly. My father was not a tall man, but he was able to command a room. He had a presence about him. The solemnity of the oracle. His hands were thick and leathery, the hands of a man who had been hard work all his life, and they grasped the Bible firmly. He read the passage aloud a second time, then a third, then fourth. With each repetition, the pitch of his voice climbed higher. His eyes, which moments before had been swollen with fatigue, were now wide and alert. There was a divine doctrine here, he said. He would inquire of the Lord. The next morning, Dad purged our fridge of milk, yogurt, and cheese. That evening, when he came home, his truck was loaded with 50 gallons of honey. Isaiah doesn't say which is evil, water or honey. Did say gaining, as my brother lugged the white tubs to the basement. But if you ask, the Lord will tell you. When Dad read the verse to his mother, she laughed in his face. I got some pennies in my purse, she said. You better take them. They will be the saints you got. Grandma had a thin, angular face, an English store of Fox Indian jewelry or silver turquoise, which hung in the clumps from her spindly neck finger, because she lived down the hill from us, near the highway. We called her Grandma down the hill. This was to distinguish her from our mother. We called Grandma over in town because she lived 15 miles south. It is the only town in the country which had a single stoplight in the grocery store. Dad and his mother got along like two cats with their tails tied together. They could talk for a week and not agree about anything, but they were tethered by their devotion to the mountain. My father's family had been living in the base of Buck Peak for half century. Grandma's daughters had married and moved away, but my father stayed in building a shabby yellow house, which he would never quite finish, just up the hill from his mother, at the base of the mountain, flanking junkyard, one of the several next to her malicious lawn. They argued daily about the mess from the junkyard, but more often about us kids. Grandma thought we should be in school, not as she put it, roaming the mountain like savage Dad said public school was a ploy by the government to lead children away from God. I may as I may as well surrender my kids to the devil himself. He said, send them down the road to that school. God told Dad to share the revelation with the public who lived and farmed in the shadow of Rock Creek. On Sunday, nearly everyone gathered at the church, hickory-colored chapel just off the highway with the small, restrained staple common in a Mormon church. Dad conquered farther as they left their pews. He started with his cousin Jim, who listened good much maternally, while Dad waves his Bible and explained the sinfulness of milk. Jim grinned, then dropped Dad the shoulder and said, "No righteous God would deprive a man of homemade strawberry ice cream on a hot summer afternoon." Jim's wife tugged on his arm as he slid past as I caught a whiff of manure. Then I remembered the big dairy farm milk north of Park Peak. That was Jim. After Dad took up preaching against milk, Grandma jammed her fridge full of it. She and Grandpa only drank skim, but pretty soon it was all there. 2% or even chocolate. She seemed to believe this was an important line to hold. Breakfast became a test of loyalty. Every morning my family sat around a large table of reworked red oak, ate either 7-grain cereal with honey and molasses, 7-grain pancakes also with the honey and molasses. Because there were 9 of us, the pancakes were never cooked all the way through. I didn't mind the cereal, but if I could soak it in the milk, then in the cream, gather up the grease, seep into the pellets. But since the revelation, we have been having it with water. It was like eating a bowl of mud. It was not long before I began to think of all the milk spoiling in the grandma fridge. Then I got into the habit of skipping breakfast each morning, going straight to the barn. I would slap the pigs, fill through for the cows, horses. Then I would hop over the control fence, loop around the barn, step through the grandma's side door. On one such a morning, as I sat at the counter watching Grandma pour off a bowl of cornflakes, she said, "How would you like to go to school?" "I wouldn't like it," I said. "How did you know?" she barked. "Yeah, I never tried." She poured the milk, handed me at the bowl. Then she perched at the bar directly across from me and watched as I shoved spoonfuls into my mouth. "We're leaving tomorrow for Arizona," she told me, but I already know she and Grandpa always went to Arizona when the weather began to turn. Grandpa said he was told for Idaho winters they could put an arc in his bone. "Get yourself up really early," Grandma said. "Around 5, we'll take you with us, put you in school." I shifted on my stool. I tried to imagine school, but I couldn't. Instead, I pictured Sunday school, which I attend each week, which I hated. A boy named Aaron had told all the girls that I couldn't read because I didn't go to school, and now none of them would talk to me. Dad says I can't go. I said, "No," Grandma said, "but we'll be long gone by the time he realizes you are missing." She set my bowl in the sink, gazed out the window. Grandma was force of nature, impatient, aggressive, self-possessed. Took at her to take a step back. She dyed her hair black. This intensified her already severe features, especially her eyebrows. which she smeared on each morning, and thick, inky arches. She drew them too large, and this made her face seem stretched. They were also drawn too high and dropped the rest of her feature into an expression of boredom, almost sarcasm. "You should be in school," she said. "Oh, won't that just make you bring me back?" I said, "You did. You did cannot make me do dumb thing." Grandma stood squaring herself. If you want you will have to come to get you." She hesitated and for a moment looked ashamed. "I talked to him yesterday. He won't be able to fetch you back for a long while. He's behind on that shed he's building in town. He cannot pick up and drive to Arizona. Not a while. The weather holds and the boys can work long days." Grandma's skin was well plaited. Dad always worked from sunup until sundown in the works before the first snow, trying to stockpile enough money from hauling scrap and building barns to outlast the winter when jobs were scarce. Even if his mother ran off with his youngest child, he wouldn't be able to stop working. Not until the forklift was encased in ice. "I will need to feed the animal before we go," I said. "He will notice I'm going for shoot if the cow break through the fence looking for water." I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the kitchen floor, watched the hours tick by. 1 a.m. to 3. As 4 hours I stood, put my boots by the back door. They were caked in manure, and I was sure Grandma wouldn't let them into her car. I pictured them on her porch, abandoned, while I ran off shoeless to Arizona. I imagined what would happen when my family discovered I was missing. My brother Richard and I always spent all day on the mountain, as it was likely no one would notice until sundown. When Richard came home for dinner, I pictured my brother pushing out the door to search for me. They would dry the junkyard first, lifting iron slabs in case some stray sheets of metal had shifted and pinned me. Then they would move outward, sweeping the farm, crawling up trees into the barn attic. Finally, they would turn to the mountain. It would be past dusk by then. The moment just before right sits, when the landscape is visible only as a darkness. In the lighter darkness, you feel the world around you more than you see. I imagine my brother speeding over the mountain, searching the black forest. No one would talk. Everyone thought it would be the same. Things could be horribly wrong on the mountain. Cliff appeared suddenly. Feral horse belonging to my grandfather ran wild over thick banks of water hemlock. Those were more than few rattle snakes. We had done this search before when a calf went missing from the barn. In the valley, you would find an injured animal on the mountain, dead one. I imagine mother standing by the back door, her eyes sweeping the dark side, when my father came home to tell her they had found me. Thank you very much. Thank you.